Okay, so once you have the little piggy nose felted in the shape that you want it to be, I feel like it's hard to see against my face because they're like the same color, but once you have the shape that you want it to be, you just pick the narrower end, see how this egg shape is, you know, a little narrower up here. So you just kind of plop it in. I'm going to place mine on the middle there. And you want to felt it. I'm going to see if I can angle this so I can show it to you pretty well. But you want to just go around the edges and poke from the nose down into the body and go all the way around the edges on that. And that'll felt it into the face. Just be careful because you got to hold the nose part on with one finger, and you want to make sure that you don't stab that finger you're holding it with. So continue to felt around the edge of the nose until it's held into place where you want it. If you put it on there and you've only felt it a little bit and you're like, oh, I have it off center or I want it somewhere else, you can take it off. If you pull firm but gently, straight off, and until you've poked it quite a bit, it's not going to be, on there super tight. So you can always kind of pull it off and replace it if you want to. So you go around the edge of the nose, and then to do the holes on the nose, I choose to just do indents, which means that this little guy's picking up fiber hanging out with me. But if you can see, his little nose just has the little snout holes felted as indents in there, and it's not felted with color. If you want to take a little bit of the natural black and make the dots on there, you can do that. That's what's great about felting. It's totally flexible, but I like to just felt the indents on the nose and and not use any color. That's just my preference. So after the nose has been felted in around the edges to keep it in place, then you just make the little nose holes by felting in the same area over and over. And you can felt it pretty firmly. And by firmly, I mean use that whole, like the first inch of the needle is the working part where it's tapered down and the barbs are. Use that whole, poke in with that whole bit so that it really gets it felted in there. And that's going to help keep the nose on there firmly too. So it doesn't take too long. You can, shape the holes however you want. But after you've felted down in there, it'll leave you nice little piggy nose holes. Okay. So after that, you're going to want to you have a little poof of your natural black. Again, split it in half or threes or however many pigs you want to make. This is a good size pig. You can make smaller ones if you want to split the kit into three and get more opportunity to make variations or smaller ones for Christmas ornaments. The wool's really nice because you can just take a wire ornament hook and poke it through and fold it in, and then it's a little ornament. So if you want to make smaller ones for ornaments, or if you have 3 friends you want to make them for, that's great. I don't, encourage people to sell our designs because they are designs that we've done and come up with. So we appreciate people, making them for themselves or for gifts, just because this is a design that we made ourselves. But there's certainly tons of variations you can do. You can always, add spots with the natural black if you want to, or you can darken the hooves. I don't put any black on the hooves because I just don't like the way it looks, but you can add a little line on each foot for the hooves, or you can cover it in the brown and make each hoof have like a dark color to it. It's just not something I like to do, but we're all different. So that's what makes it fun. So you literally just need a tiny little poof of the natural black to do the eyes. And then you split that tiny poof in half and roll it in your fingers like a tiny meatball, and then attach it to, I like my eyes to go like right above the corners of the nose, like corners. The nose doesn't really have corners, but the top, outside edges of the nose. You can put it wherever you want. It's your project. It's your pig. So put it wherever you want. But I like to put mine right above the nose, like right up against the nose on the top edges. So there's one, and you literally just poke it in. And the needle you're using is a 38 triangle. So it's a good working needle. It'll do the job, without pushing, all the wool too far through it. But so then you get little piggy nose, little piggy eyes. Now, if you'd like to, I don't know if this guy has it. No, he doesn't. This guy does not have anything else to his face besides ears, which we'll get to. But if you'd like to, you can take your needle and kind of go from the center of the nose, and right about here, you can draw a triangle with your needle and poke inside that triangle to make like a little mouth indent. So you just, draw the triangle and then poke in that triangle only. And that's going to give him like looks like a little mouth. It's fun because it gives it depth and texture, and, there's no color added. It's just makes it look like he has his little piggy mouth open down there. So I apologize for the quality. I'm taping this myself on my iPad, so it's not professional, but you'll be able to figure it out. So that's the face. So now we're going to go into the ears. The ears are just little triangles. You're going to remember to keep the part that you're attaching, so the wide base of the triangle, you want to keep that fringy, because that makes it easy to felt it in smoothly and blend it into the body. So to make a triangle, you take some of your pink for this pig, again, when you're doing two of something like the eyes, it's always best to take one poof and split it in half. So then you have the same amount of wool going into the ears, and you're more likely to make it the same shape, same size. I'm not always perfect at that, but it gives you a better chance. You know what I mean? So again, you're going to just take your little poof, kind of draft out the fibers a little bit, which just means like you're pulling them down a little. So you're thinning it out, making it a little longer. And then you're going to roll the fiber down into a rectangle piece like this. And then you can take your needle. Let me see if I can show you this backwards. Lay your needle down in an angle, like the side of a triangle. Fold the wool over the needle, pull the needle out, and then just felt down that line. And then, this is not safe, so don't felt like this, because I'm totally being a bad example. And then again, just do it again on the other side. Put the needle down at an angle that you want the ear to be. Fold the wool over, and then felt that down. And that is going to give you the triangle shape with the fringy part at the base. So that's what you want. So you just felt that down. And with these little pieces, these little ears are supposed, you want them to be kind of flat. You don't want them to be super poofy. So you can felt on the edge. Like if you have little loose fibers on the edge and you just want to poke into the side there to felt it up better, and keep flattening it out. And then you want to pull it off your little sponge here and flip it over. And then felt the other side, because it's going to have little fibers that you poke through, and that just makes it look a little cleaner. And for the flat pieces too, because I don't like to spend my entire day working on getting each little teeny piece perfect, you can take it after you've poked both sides and just put it in the palm of your hands and kind of rub it together, and like the heat and friction will help flatten out any extra little loose fibers too. So you have a little piggy ear. I've already made my second one, but you can go ahead and actually I'm going to fix this one a little bit because I don't like it as much, but I just want it to have the same shape. So then you take the two little ears. Once you've got them both done, again, you take your wool, draft it out, roll it down to a long rectangle, fold one in over the needle at an angle, felt it, fold it again, make a triangle. So then you end up with two little poofy triangle ears. Okay, so ear placement, again, all your choice. This guy has them way off to the side. I like the way that looks. And they also kind of flop down. I think that's cute too. You can make them so they stand up if you'd rather. It's up to you. But to get them to lay down floppy like the one pictured in the kit, you just place it where you want it. And you're going to do the majority of your felting on the back and felt it down like that. And that's going to just get the ear to lay down flat and, you know, be like a floppy ear. Actually, I want to move this over a little ways. So you just felt that on the seam there, and continue to, like, you know, felt all the fringe, because you'll be able to see the loose fibers from the fringe. And you do want to felt a little bit inside the ear, but you're not felting it like on the seam so much as you're just felting back to tuck in any little fibery pieces that are left hanging out. Okay, so one ear. If you want your ears to stick up instead of laying it flat, you're going to place it like that on the pig and felt the back and the front just the same, both on each side. You can get the corners to turn in if you want and just kind of pinch the ear a bit and felt it that way, and the fibers will hold it, you know, so it's pinched a little bit if you like the look of that. The sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want because it's yours, and that's what makes it fun. So so those are the two, you know, options. You can make it a sticky up ear or a lay down ear. If you do a lay down ear and you think, oh, I really wanted that ear to stick up, just pull it back and felt it in on the crease. You can still take it and squeeze it like I did the first or the second one and just make it match. So it's pretty forgiving. It's pretty nice to be able to be like, oh, I like that better, and just switch it. Like, it's not permanent. Like, you can just do whatever you want. You know, if you make it a mistake, or you know, make a choice that you think you would like it better another way, then change it. So there's this guy. He's got the sticky up ears. He's got the lay down ears. Just depends on what you like. All right. So now we're going to go on to making, all right. So to make the legs, we are going to take, a little bit of the pink you have left and pull that off and set it aside. And you'll see why in a second. The rest of it, you want to take, split in half, and then split each of those pieces in half again, so that you have 4 equal pieces of pink wool. And it doesn't take much to make a leg. So you want to have your piece like this, and you simply just roll it into a cylinder shape. And you can tuck in one end as you roll. So I have this end tucked in, and this end is still fluffy, because you always want your blending end fluffy. It just makes it nicer. So you just roll that into shape, and then I gotta move all my wool, it's in the way of the, there. So you just roll that into shape, and then you hold it between your fingers and felt down a couple times. You can felt flat on the bottom and then roll it a little bit and felt again, up and down, and do that until you've done, you know, quite a few rolls and it's got the leg felted in shape. It doesn't take long to do a leg, so it's kind of a pain because you have to do 4 of them, but they don't take long and they're not, they're pretty forgiving. So that's it, 1 little leg. So if you want to make 4 more of those, go ahead and, or 3 more, then go ahead and pause the video and make the rest of your legs. All right, so now we have all 4 legs felted and ready to go. We're going to just attach them on the 4 corners of the pig. So I like to put mine, you know, look at the pig nose down and see like about where I want the placement of the first leg. Hold it on there, and without poking your fingers, gently tack it in to the side of his body. And you want to felt it pretty firmly because, especially if this ends up in the hands of a kid or anything like that, the first thing they're going to pull at is the legs. And is it possible for them to pull it off? Yes, if it's not felted very firmly. That's why a lot of these things, you know, people say they're for display only, or, you know, for gentle play, like a farm, you know, barnyard or something. They're not for kids that are still at the age where they're prone to, you know, yanking and pulling on stuff. It's not because they're bad kids. It's just, you know, little kids do that. They're extra lovey on their soft toys. So you just kind of want to eyeball and match up the other leg to be, so when they stand up, they're not crooked. They can stand pretty firm on their 4 feet. So once you feel like you have it in the right spot, again, just go ahead and tack it on there. So you got 2 legs so far. Go ahead and do the same for the last 4 legs. And then we're almost done with the first one, right? Then you get to go out and do another one whenever you want. Okay, so last leg, again, you want to hold it kind of parallel to make sure that they all match up, and start tacking it in. So all 4 legs tacked into place. That wasn't so bad, right? Okay, so now you take some of the extra fluff, the pink fluff that you set aside, and you want to take like a tiny little poof. And I think I'm even going to split this one in half. And then I use that to felt over the seams. So see on the leg how you can see where I attach this to the body on both of them. One, they're not very even because one leg was bigger than the other, so that kind of looks funny. Plus you can just see the seam where it was attached on. So if you take this little poof and you just put it right over where that seam is and felt it in gently, then that'll make it look just a little bit nicer and more finished. And you won't be able to see the seam anymore, and people will think you're magic. So you keep felting and do that for all 4 legs so that you get a nice little finished looking piece. And it's just like the tiniest bit, but it definitely makes a difference in making the piece look more uniform and finished, so you don't have those big seams sticking out on the side. So there's, see how it's just kind of covered up those seams as opposed to these ones where you can definitely see where the legs are attached. It just makes it look a little cleaner. So we do that for all 4 legs. And then our last little tidbit is to take a tiny poof, and you kind of want to make it the length of the tail you want. And then literally you just roll it between your fingers to make it a tail. And then I go through with the needle and just kind of go up and down the length of it once or twice to make sure it keeps its shape. Then you want to tack it on the buns of your little piggy wherever you want it to be placed. So I tack on one end of the tail. So there's just one end of the tail tacked on, the rest hanging out. And then about, I don't know, halfway between the remainder of the tail, I just push my needle down and felt that gently into the buns. And then it makes it look like a little curly pigtail. So that's it. That is,